Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're here with Grand Hierophant Khatep, going to be taking the Tomb Kings up against the Skaven, hence Khatep on his mobility scooter here. So let's go ahead and take a look at Grandpa Khatep's loadout here. I've got the Sandstorm bound vortex that Khatep comes with, in addition to the magical vortex, the spell incantation of Skullstorm. So the Sandstorm and Skullstorm double vortex kit for taking out lots of Skaven infantry. We've also got incantation of protection just to help protect himself in case he gets caught out by rat ogres or things like that. In terms of the rest of the army, we've got one Tomb Prince here on a horse for the anti-large armor piercing in case of Hell Pit Abominations or Plague Furnaces. Likewise, the Sphinx of Usek is for the same thing. The Sphinx, not sure, must have gone right on top of it, but yeah, this thing also causes terror, of course. Just an absolute world beater. Going to be very tough for the Skaven to deal with. And then my infantry line is a mix of skeleton spears. We do have the Regiment of Renown Scorpion Legion, who the more I play with, the more I like these guys. They're pretty decent, cost-effective spear infantry. They have poison as well as 42 melee defense, so they're a reasonable choice. They've also got 45 armor, which is pretty solid. Tomb Guard, we've got a couple units of them as well as the Kemper Guard in the center. These guys will beat up most Skaven infantry without too much issue here, and their masks also look super cool. Just absolutely love those guys. We've also got a couple of skeleton chariots out to the flanks. Again, going to be very good against Skaven infantry, and we do have a single, actually two skeleton archers here just to deal with low armor Skaven monsters. That's pretty much it for my army. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Skaven list here. We've got Lord Skrolk, obviously the most competitive pick here. Got both his items, and looks like Pestilent Birth, Plague, Vermintide, Wither, Blessed with Filth, and Pestilent Breath. So going full in with all the spell selection there. Not sure if my opponent actually needed all of those or if that was just a mistake. It's totally possible that was just a mistake, but overall, decent build here. We've got a couple of assassins. The two Plague Claw Catapults is not a pick that I agree with too much, but he does have him backed up with two Plague Monks. Poison Wind Globadiers are going to be very good against constructs if you can keep them alive. He's got Storm Vermin out to the flanks, front line of Clan Rats with shields, and one unit of Death Runners? Yeah, just the one unit of Death Runners here. These guys will be very good against constructs. Once again, applying that Weeping Blade minus 50% armor scales very, very well to the very high armor of the constructs. So without further ado, let's kick the battle into full gear. You can see the Plague Claw Catapults will do quite a bit of damage to the Tomb King's infantry, although he probably wants to be targeting his Kemper Guard here in the center. That's the most high value unit of infantry, but it looks like he's actually going after the archers, which is an interesting play. It is going to do quite a bit of damage. Because the archers have relatively poor leadership, it isn't going to be hard for that artillery piece to set them into crumbling. You can see Khatep was pulling up in the main line there, not wanting to stay in range of those Globadiers too much, which is honestly their main drawback. Globadiers are an incredibly powerful unit, but they do have very, very short range. You can see they're going to start pitching their little globes over towards this Sphinx here. Unfortunately, they're not too accurate, only making contact with a couple missiles there, but it does do quite a bit of damage, so I definitely need to be honest and respect these guys here. But you can see we've come in for a little bit of an alpha strike here, and the idea is just to force a nice blob with these skeleton chariots to then allow Khatep to unleash his vortex. So you can see the vortex coming through here, just annihilating these Plague Monks, going straight down the line here, and the other vortex also unleashed, so the double vortex just rampaging through the Skaven lines here. You can see the Sandstorm has come. The Globadiers and particularly the Plague Monks took quite a bit of that damage there, and the one Plague Claw Catapult also had its its crew completely routed off. It did cost us the one unit of chariots, but overall I felt that was a pretty effective trade. Skrolk here is trying to take down the Sphinx. Him and the assassins are all kind of teaming up to try and take it down. They'll be able to do some damage on it over time, but if he was able to pull this unit of Death Runners over to this side and sunder the armor of this Sphinx, then the assassins and Skrolk would all do a lot more damage, because obviously none of them are armor-piercing type troops. But you can see the terror starting to take hold with some of the Clan Rats, and in the front line, these Plague Monks aren't going to be able to hold up to the Kemper Guard, who are pushing through very aggressively here. You can see them inundating this back line, so the Tomb Guard pushing through. Khatep's pulling up in the back line here, having a little rendezvous with his chariot boys here, right on top of the Poison Globadiers, not allowing them to fire their globes, obviously. Storm Vermin are still online. Skrolk himself is getting monster mashed a little bit here. Over time, they are doing quite a bit of damage. to the Sphinx, and it looks like the Liber Bubonicus was actually dropped on the Sphinx itself there. Just going all in with Lord Skrulk, trying to take it down. Lord Skrulk himself has taken quite a bit of damage, and now we've got the Tomb Prince. A little bit hard to see because of the summon animation there, but the Tomb Prince is also matched up on Skrulk here, so we're trying to do everything we can just to finish off the Skaven leadership here to complete the route. The bounce power is still pretty even, though, at this point. You can see a lot of my infantry has taken some damage. The Kepler Guard, though, true champions of the Tomb Kings, just pushing through the center here. They're going to be getting into these Storm Vermin here. Looks like my opponent pathing them very aggressively, trying to get after Khatep here, who's kind of pulling in and out of this formation here. More Tomb Guard holding the line here, but man, these Kepler Guard with their green outfits and their masks and all that, looking super cool here in the combat with these massive Storm Vermin. You can see Khatep's having to run away from those Death Runners. Definitely does not want to take that engagement. The Death Runners will obviously do a ton of damage to him. We do still have one unit of archers online. The other one did get crumbled away completely, but seeing as this nice big blob is here, we're going to unleash another Vortex, which unfortunately is going to plow straight through the Kepler Guard and take most of them down. You can see quite a few friendly casualties there, but it does give those Storm Vermin pretty effectively, and we're going to unleash the second one right on top of there as well. And you can see it kind of just hangs around like almost right on top of these guys. This entire Skaven pocket just got broken up by that Vortex, so Khatep's kill count is up to 210 at this point. You can see Khatep is running after the Scroll Master himself, sending him on a nice ride, tumbling across the desert here. This is definitely Khatep's desert, so the Tomb Prince is going to get in here and try and finish things off with Lord Skrulk. Skrulk popping that Rod of Corruption there, but unfortunately it doesn't quite do enough single target damage, not going to be enough to save Skrulk Master. At this point, we got the Ushabti summon over on this side to break up this last unit of Storm Vermin and these Death Runners here as well. So yeah, definitely going to be a very brutal affair for the Skaven. Man, this game is absolutely gorgeous. I just love this aesthetics of it and all the cinematics. It's a super gorgeous game, I have to say. You can see Khatep pulling through here, dropping that incantation on himself. No, I don't see any vortexes or anything, so at the end of the day, Skrulk's only got 99 HP left. He's very low, and the Terror is going to take hold for most of the Skaven units here. The Tomb Prince, unfortunately, did get taken down by the combined might of the two assassins here. You can see them doing some fancy little karate kicks here, but yeah, this Tomb Prince is crumbling at this point and is going to fall to the sands, but there's not much left for the Skaven, more of just a moral victory at this point, because obviously this massive Necrosphinx is still online, still terrifying away these assassins, and we did manage to get off that Curse of Jaff just before that Tomb Prince went out, so both these guys are enraged, not able to be microed. You can see in the back line some Storm Vermin are rallying. We're trying our best to keep them online. These 18 Kepler Guard, man, these guys have seen a lot in this particular battle. They took down the front line, they mashed a whole bunch of Plague Monks and other like units. They also took some nasty friendly fire, and it looks like another Vortex going to be unleashed right at the tail end of this by Khatep, right in the center of the Storm Vermin, and once again, the Kepler Guard going to be taking a little bit of friendly fire from that, but it is going to be enough to finish off the Skaven leadership, and it will be a victory for the Tomb Kings. So very well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. I know that was a lot of fun for me to play. Anytime I can take Khatep and get that dual Vortex build out, it's a lot of fun. I don't know that it's necessarily the most competitive build, but it certainly can do a lot of work against infantry-heavy Skaven armies. And then I have the armor-piercing anti-large of the Noble and the Sphinx here to take out, you know, Plague Furnaces or Hell Pit Abominations, things of that sort. So in particular, the Sphinx of Usek does fire damage, so it'll be very good against the Hell Pit Abomination because it does have the standard regeneration trait. Speaking of regeneration trait, the Kepler Guard, who have that as well, 117 kills in the front line, absolute champs. There's really not too many Skaven infantry that can stand up to these guys for very long. 43 kills on the Scorpion Legion and took relatively little damage. And obviously most of the work coming from Khatep there from the Vortexes. For my opponent, Skrulk unfortunately took a lot of damage from the Sphinx. They were almost able to take it down, but not quite. If he had maybe had those Death Runners in that particular engagement, it might have gone differently for him, but losing out a lot of those Plague Monks early on to the Vortexes was very rough. 227 kills is a lot. You'd expect a lot against the Skaven, but a lot of those were actually against more of these elite tier units like the Storm Vermin and the Plague Monks and so on, so really rough engagement. I definitely agree with most of my opponent's build here. I'd probably just trade these Plague Claw Catapults out for the Warp Lightning Cannons, maybe one Warp Lightning Cannon, and use the remaining funds to get some, maybe another their storm vermin or something like that. Just because the infantry line isn't really going to be the issue for the Skaven to deal with. It's really going to be the constructs. So you need that anti-large armor piercing type artillery rather than the anti-infantry artillery. Would be definitely better in this matchup. But still, they did manage to get quite a few kills, 87 and 43. Most of those coming against the archers. You can see only one of my units of archers did anything at all. The other one got crumbled away pretty quickly. The skeleton chariots didn't end up doing a lot either, but they just kind of forced up that big blob, which then allowed the Grand Hierophant here to get his work done. So very fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you like this kind of content, feel free to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, all that jazz. Thank you very much for watching once again, and we'll see you next time.